Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, I'll be discussing my thoughts on Season 2, Episode 8 of the Orville, entitled Identity, Part 1. Holy hell. Mind effectively blown. This is like, you know, the Orville's answer to the first half of the Best of Both Worlds from Star Trek The Next Generation. As far as setup goes, as far as the cliffhanger goes, this was par excellence, and it's just going to be a waiting game now till next week, till the next episode, to see if the culmination lives up to, you know, the culmination of the Best of Both Worlds in its entirety. I was absolutely mind blown, and several times over I have to add in this episode, from Scott Grimes busting out a goodbye song to Isaac, because now Isaac is leaving. The vocals, like, if that was really him, if that's legit him singing, holy shnikes, man. Like, I did not expect that. It came out of nowhere, and I was riveted as he was performing, you know, saying goodbye, singing his goodbyes to Isaac, and to not a hell of a lot of fanfare either. Like, is this a regular thing for him? You know, everyone on board the Orville knows this is something he does. It seems like it was completely out of left field, at least to we the viewer, but nobody, like, hardly anybody reacts, and there's no applause afterwards. So, okay, alrighty then. Just blew my mind. But then going back to the Kaylon homeworld after Isaac is, for all intents and purposes, dead-legged, he's deactivated because he's served his purpose. And it was like everything was thrown up into the air. What is going to happen? You know, like watching somebody juggling active chainsaws. I don't know what in the hell's going to happen. And it almost seemed like maybe they reconfigured Isaac to make him less sympathetic toward the human beings of the Orville, less sympathetic to Claire, the doctor, and her children, or something like that. I don't know if they reprogrammed him or tweaked him in a way. It definitely seemed as though maybe they had, because suddenly he was completely and utterly cut off from any sort of sympathy toward them, any sort of connective tissue that would have once been there, that has been there ever since, you know, his first appearance on the show. All of that growth and development and that interpersonal interconnectivity he shared with Claire, very intimate as well. But everybody, you know, it's like it was just gone. Suddenly he was brass tacks, you know, machinations and working along the same purposes as the rest of his species, for lack of a better term. And so that in and of itself was enough to be mind-blowing and to be like, wow, where is this going to go? The idea of the overhanging question of will they or won't they join the Planetary Union was intriguing, but it was kind of like I was starting to feel like, okay, why are we spending so much time here? Round about the time that Mercer brings up to Kelly, these are computers, you know, these are machines. The binary yes or no sort of framework, there shouldn't be time that they're taking to mull this over. All the time that they are taking, it doesn't make any sense. You know, there's something going on. Something smells fishy. And sure enough, you know, because of Claire's youngest child, they actually found out about it ahead of time. There is just a mass of all of these corpses, you know, skeletal remains under the foundations of their entire world. And you know, like thinking of catacombs in Italy, France, you know, all over Europe, it was kind of a shocking reveal. And you know, it almost was perturbing to me, because they do that typical television trope where, like, you know, the kid goes in, he gets lost in the underground tunnels, and he sees something, and then they cut away. And then, you know, once Claire has realized her son is missing, and, you know, the captain, Mercer, sends Tala, Bortus, and Claire to go find him. They figure out, you know, pinpoint where he's located. He comes out of that little underground cavern, you know, when they've climbed down inside it. And he's like, there's something bad. And they're building it up. They're building up the reveal. And then we get a little bit of a hint of it with a pile of skeletal remains. But then again, you know, Bortus sees something else, and they cut away. And, you know, it was like, just reveal it already. And then when finally they do, I was gobsmacked. I was like, holy hell, what in the hell happened here? You know, now my first thought was like, oh, is it going to be like a twist where you think it's something fairly ominous, but no, in fact, like maybe, you know, the Kaylons, maybe this was their origins. Maybe they were bio-humanoids originally, and their species, you know, was going to potentially snuff itself out. Maybe it succumbed to a world-shattering, shaping disease or something like that. And maybe they used, you know, their technological advancements, their prowess, to insert, you know, their souls, their mind, body, and souls, a la Ghost in the Shell, one of my all-time favorite anime series. You know, implant the essence of themselves in these mechanized forms, and over the eons or you know, hundreds of years, whatever the time span might be, they became more and more and more machine-like and less prone to, you know, emotions and things, cold calculating machines, computers for brains and all that kind of stuff. Like over time. I didn't know. That was my speculation. Like maybe this wasn't all it was cracked up to be. Oh no, it's all legit. These are the remains of a species, a bio-species that was living on their planet alongside them, their creators in fact, and they deigned them, you know, just something that had to be eradicated, a threat to be wiped out, a la the Matrix. You know, Agent Smith in the Matrix, he's like, hey, humanity was a cancer on Earth and we had to wipe them out. And in this case, they're looking very much similarly to humanity and to the multicultural planetary union, most pointedly, a la, you know, Star Trek, going always back to Earth. They want to wipe out the biological species that make up the planetary union, beginning with humanity, beginning with Earth. And that's where we leave the episode. They're taking over the Orville, taking command of it, and with guns blazing, ready to just eradicate humanity. You know, commit genocide. They've already done it once, so this is going to be nothing for them. And it was gobsmacking and mind-blowing, as I say. And then the one sort of overhanging thing that I'm worried about is I hope they don't cop out from this. I hope this isn't all a grand, elaborate test, a plan via the Kaylons to see if humanity is truly worth it, if they can hold their own, if they're up to snuff in you know, their own self-preservation or whatever like that, whatever crazy mechanical idea they might have. I hope this is truly legit. I hope it isn't all a ruse and you know, whatever like that, to really put the planetary union to the test before actually coming to a conclusion. I hope this is the real deal. It's a real impending threat, and how they're going to resolve that is beyond me. I cannot even speculate. How could they potentially resolve this in a fashion that sees everything set, for all intents and purposes, right, unless perhaps maybe, you know, like something out of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, you had alliances between the Klingons and the Romulans to go against the Dominion, you know, and the Founders and all that kind of stuff. So I don't exactly know. You know, I could speculate till the cows come home, but I hope it is as mind-blowing, and I hope it isn't, again, a sort of bait and switch that we find out, oh, no. This was all a joke. This was all a test. I hope this is legit, and I'm going to be really, like, poised on the edge of my seat for the next week or whenever the next episode airs to find out what in the hell is going to happen. How are they going to close this all up? You know, make everything go back to sort of status quo, if that's even possible. And by that I mean chiefly, how are they going to get Isaac back? Is that even a part of the equation, or are they writing the character out? You know, because I do think it's interesting, even though there is that aspect that, you know, I said earlier in the video about his seemingly having been tweaked by the Kaylons once he was, you know, back in their possession, so that suddenly he had the cold stoicism and no more sympathy toward, you know, the human characters that he has been spending so much time with. Even in spite of that, he still has the blue eyes and the blue glowing light up effects on his body and everything like that, whereas all of the rest of them had red and orange, these you know, incendiary colors. And so it does make me wonder if he will not in fact be saved in some way, shape, or form, or maybe it's even like Data in Star Trek First Contact, where it seemed as though he had been seduced by the Borg Queen at one point to take over, you know, the Enterprise and to, you know, encapsulate and capture Picard once again. But it ended up being a calculated ruse on Data's part. And maybe it's, you know, something along those lines with Isaac. Maybe love will conquer all, and you know, some level of his sympathy or some level of his connective tissue that he has shared with Claire will come back to the fore and resurface and take over his, you know, his own self-command from whatever tweaking the Kaylons did to him. And maybe he will be a saving grace, a saving factor in whatever's going to happen, if indeed it proves to be true that this is all legit and the Kaylons are this genocidal and completely and utterly mad. You know, it could go any number of ways, and I am stoked beyond, you know, the capacity for sharing it verbally, to see. I'm going to be waiting with bated breath to see, because this was a masterstroke of an episode. You know, this season there have been so many more highs than there were, you know, midstreams and lows as compared to the first season. Whatever they're doing it right. And I just can't wait to see. I'd love to hear from you guys at this juncture in the comments below what you thought of episode 8 of season 2 of the Orville Identity, part 1 for all intents and purposes. If you found it as mind-blowing as I did, I know some of you probably won't have, but you know, anything goes in the comments below. Love it or hate it. As long as you are respectful of other people's opinions and you're respectable and sharing your own, you know, I always love having that conversation. And if you enjoyed this video and would like to consider supporting my channel, I'd like you to have a look at my PayPal contribution link posted both in the description as well as the comments below. It affords you options very much akin to Patreon, where you can set up a monthly contribution, a one-time only kind of thing. Send me a personal message alongside any contribution you see fit to send my way, requesting topics I may discuss in the future, make you know, recommendations as far as things I could check out, ask for shout-outs, all that kind of good stuff. And anything you saw fit to send my way would be 2 thumbs up for me in securing my longevity on YouTube. And so yeah, until the next one, that'll be pretty much it for me on this. I'll be waiting for it with bated breath, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.